Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. In the last episode, we made it to the top of the lighthouse and we saw that Amphi, the Ampharos, is having breathing problems, so we have to go over to Cianwood City to go to the pharmacy. In this episode, I want to show this off first. I actually managed to grind Limosa up to level 25, and she now knows Spark, because at this point, since I was already doing recording, I didn't really want to have to waste so much time with having to grind so much, and so I figured, after I get done with that episode, I'll just go ahead and just do some off-screen grinding, and so I did just that, and so I was able to have her to learn Spark, because I really need an electric type attack at this point, especially if I'm just going over to these water routes, because we battled those other trainers over that one route, and so the next route over is just going to be like a bunch of those water-based trainers, and so I just want to be able to just at least have some electric type cover instead of just having to rely on Audrey so much with Vine Whip. So anyway, so we have this next swimmer, and he has a full team of 6. Wow, that's like not very common that this ever happens. A bunch of those are going to be like tentacles, but there's also some water type Pokemon that will be countering as well, like this Staryu. So yeah, just like I think probably like 2 tentacles, and I think it's Evolve Form as well, but like some other ones that we'll probably see in just a sec. So yeah, it's not every day that we actually get a full team of, or a trainer with a full team of 6, not like some certain fishers and just gives a team of 6 Magikarps. Although, strangely enough, there's no fisher with a team of 6 Magikarps. I can actually just remember, like, right at the top of my head about, like, with games where, you battle, like, all 6 Magikarps. There's one in Gen 4, well, in the Sinnoh games. There's also in Gen 5, both Black and White 1 and 2, but only in post-game, though. I think also applies for Black and White 2. Yeah, I think that's also like a post game because I don't think the Magikarp line is in the same is in the Unova Pokédex in Black and White 2. And then there's also one in X and Y, and I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't think there's any more fishers like that for that. Because yeah, most of the time it's like the layer gens where it's like they just use up to 3 Pokemon. Well, most of the time anyway. I don't know if there's like any more than 3. We also have Remoraid here. I think this is our first encounter with Remoraid. Remoraid, I can't exactly remember what its stats were though. I mean, it's pretty much speedy though, but it's also an interesting Pokemon as well. Like for one thing, it does have a rather strange evolution, kind of a cycle where, well, we'll probably see what kind of Pokemon it evolves to. We'll just wait. I think we're just gonna encounter that Pokemon like way late in the game, post game probably. But I will say this though, Remoraid is one of those special cases where like in Gen 4, there's this one Pokemon called Mantine, which is like the Manta Ray Pokemon, and it is in this gen. But in Gen 4, it gets re-evolution in Mantike, and basically to evolve Mantike, you have to raise it where you have to have a Remoraid in your party because it basically just clings onto the Mantine, which I guess also makes sense. In real life, where there's like some fish that will cling onto a Manta Rays as to use as transportation and stuff like that. But in a sense, Remoraid's just there for freeloading. And the Manta's going, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Kind of funny when I was thinking about it. So anyway, so yeah, all 6 of the Pokemon here. Yeah, like I said, it's just not every day that you actually see something like that. And not at least with Magikarps. It's just mostly Tentacles and then the occasional Staryu and Remoraid. So it's a kind of a rare instance here. Now this route right here, I think we're in our Route 41. This is actually where it's home to the to one of those new dungeons that we haven't access to just yet though. These are called the Whirl Islands, which we'll probably see just to demonstrate here because we see some obstacles that are kind of blocking the way. We have another Swimmer to face, Swimmer Kara. I think this is where she's going to be using Starmie. Well, basically the same kind of team that Misty used in Gen 1, where it's just the Staryu line. After I just get rid of this Staryu here, but I think it's just going to be using Harden. As you can see here, the Staryu line is actually one of those Pokemon that does not have a gender at all. So yeah, I was actually mentioning where like there are Pokemon that are genderless, like Magnemite for instance. Staryu is the same thing because interestingly enough, it also makes sense in real life where the actual starfish they don't have any specified genders at all, where like they're also genderless. And so I think they're able to reproduce in that kind of sense, but my marine. I'm not really that much of a marine biologist per se, but you know, I did a little bit of research on some instances like those. And so here we have Starmie. Starmie is a water psychic type, a great Pokemon to use, very speedy as well. And you know, it does eventually learn some good attacks, like either some psychic type attacks, and also you know, using a Bubble Beam and knock out a Nightshade just like that. I could just get the advantage with using a Shadow Ball, but alas. And Nightshade wasn't really doing that good here, and wouldn't be able to get to evolve eventually. At least I hope so. And I think Starmie is also kind of on the defensive line, you know, in terms of Psychic-type Pokemon, besides Drowsy. So there's that right there. So if you want to go to defensive Psychic-type, you know, I still think, well, I mean, in terms of a physical defense, rather, not so much with special defense, because I'm pretty sure it's also like we're good with that as well. Alright, so might as well, I had to use my last revive right there. Yeah, I only have like one revive left, but I might as well just use it anyway, because, well, I don't think I'll be using a Nightshade for the rest of this route, because, you know, I think it's just all other water types, or, you know, most of them being like tentacles and whatnot. Right after I get done, yeah, I was checking my party here, see if whoever wants to go. So anyway, so like I said, this route is home to the Whirl Islands here, one of those other dungeons that you see here. Unfortunately, though, there are whirlpools blocking the way, hence the name Whirl Islands, because you know, since we don't have the HM for Whirlpool and we don't have the right badge for it, we can't even go past those because we can't even. I'm actually surprised that, like, you know, whirlpools are supposed to basically just suck people in, and they and that leads to their demise, but somehow it didn't do that this time. We just you know, we just twirl around and then it just pushes us back. So I don't know what kind of logic there is there, but granted, this is a Pokemon game anyway. I mean, it's supposed to be like lighthearted, and so it wouldn't really happen like that. But anyway, so we can't really get into the Whirl Islands unless we have the HM Whirlpool and also the badge to be able to use it in the overworld. So for now we can't really get into there, but I'm not even after we do get the Whirlpool HM and the badge for it, I'm actually not gonna go there just yet though. Like, I'm actually just gonna wait until like much later on, because it's also home to a certain legendary that will only be accessible if we have the item for it, which is gonna be like in the post game, or actually, well, not so much post game, but actually I'm pretty sure it's like post game, at least in Crystal. So we'll just we'll have to wait until then though. But you know, the Whirl Islands is actually going to be something I'm going to explore like way later on, like, you know, pretty much after post game, I would say. You know, once I actually decide to just show off the legendaries, kind of like towards the end of this LP. And what we just encountered there was Seal. Seal, it's pretty bulky, and eventually it does evolve to Water Ice type. So that much I might, well, it does have access to, like, some Ice-type moves that, they can use. I'm not sure, like, how limited it would be, considering it's, considering the limited kind of, movable there is. And this right here is Quillfish. Quillfish, a water poison type. Again, I'm not sure, like, how good it would be, though. I mean, I haven't really looked much of its stats here. I mean, you know, I really wish I did my research on those guys. It's just, you know, I kind of forgot to do so, and so because of those, I kind of draw a blank right there. And that was Minimize. Minimize raises up the evasion stats of the Pokemon, which means that your attacks would be more likely to miss if it's able to dodge more easily. Now, something very interesting though, from in terms of the from a visual standpoint, Gens 1 and 2 are the only gens where, like, if a Pokemon uses Minimize, their sprite changes where it's like it's completely struck over, and Lumos keeps on getting poisoned. God damn it! Because, you know, Quillfish does have, like, you know, with a poison sting and all that. But yeah, like, they actually made where Minimize, you know, actually has the Pokemon actually shrink towards, you know, it's just a tiny little sprite there. They actually stopped doing that, starting with Gen 3, where it still does its animation, where it just kind of, like, shrinks down and up, and then, but then it just goes back to its original size, so it, like, never really shrinks at all. So, I mean, it actually really does make less sense, you know, from the animations for Minimize, starting with Gen 3. Kind of weird in a way. I don't know, probably because of, like, you know, maybe because they didn't really have time for that, or something like that. I don't know, but it was kind of a nice touch where they actually had the sprite shrink there. And oh, here we go, Gyarados! Alright guys, yeah, Gyarados. It is, well, if you, most of you already know this by now, but if you don't, it is the evolved form of Magikarp. It evolves into Gyarados by level 20. Gyarados is a fucking beast! A damn good Pokemon to use, and, you know, I mean, I would say probably my second favorite water type, though, because, like, my most favorite water type is, Samurott. But Gyarados, though, oh man, yeah, Gyarados is actually a water flying type, so you can actually easily knock it out with, electric type moves, because of its 4 times weak to it, but it is a fucking beast. Has, you know, great access to a lot of water moves. It knows, it also eventually learns Hyper Beam and also some Dragon-based moves as well. Like, it can learn Dragon Rage, and also, you know, and also in Gen 2, where it can learn Dragon Dance, where it raises up the attack and speed stat. But you can also teach it, like, a good variety of moves, like either from good water-based moves or, you know, some sort of Dragon-type moves. So, you know, if you want a damn good water type, you know, if you want, like, you know, a beast of a water type, go for Gyarados. And, you know, and some of my Pokemon playthroughs I actually did use Gyarados quite a number of times, and oh man, it proves so useful. Like, great attack, great special attack too. You know, it's, you know, definitely one of the best kind of water type Pokemon to use. So, you know, if you're one of those patient types, you know, I would say that, you know, Magikarp can still be worth it, despite its reputation as being one of the weakest Pokemon, and even its Pokedex entry says so. Because, you know, it always starts like very weak, but, you know, it still does have potential. So if you're one of those patient types, and you just raise the Magikarp, trust me, the payoff is, like, very well worth it. So just raise it just fine, and, you know, you'll get that Gyarados. So, yeah, just definitely worth it. So anyway, so here we have Swimmer Kaylee. I think this is, so she's going to be using the first 2 Goldines, but then this is where she'll just be using the, using its evolved form pretty soon once we get to it. And that experience bar just did pull a little fuck you on me because, because, like, it just gets so close to leveling up and goes like that. I hate when it does that. I mean, I'm actually real thankful for the experience bar, so that way I can see how much till next level up. But from a visual standpoint, it can be pretty frustrating and a little inconsistent at times, where, you know, it just goes right at the bar, but then it just goes like, yeah, just do one more. I'll fuck you on that one. Oh, Seeking. Fuck yeah, Seeking! So anyway, Seeking. Seeking has, well, I think from what I might have looked up for Seeking sets, a pretty good attack and maybe some special attack as well, so still a good Pokemon to use. Does have access to some horn-based moves like I think a Horn Attack, and I think it knows Horn Drill as well, which is a knockout move. It has, you know, very low accuracy, but it's also a knockout move where, you know, where if it hits, then those Pokemon will always be a one-shot like that. So it's always gonna be a one-hit KO. But, you know, back to what I was saying about, like, with you know, some certain attacks, like you know, there's like some certain attacks with a real high attack power that goes over 100, but you know, it has a cost where it has a drawback where it has very low accuracy, and so because of that, I did say beforehand that, you know, I'm one of those guys who always prioritizes accuracy over power. I mean, as long as I have, you know, the good moves for it though, but, you know, because, like, you know, some moves like Thunder, Hydro Pump, and Fire Blast, those I rarely ever bother with those, because, you know, because of their really low accuracy. So, you know, because of that, I just, I know some of you guys would very much disagree with me on that one there, but, you know, I really just, I'd rather not just use moves where it just makes battle take forever because they would just keep on missing. So because of that, you know, I'm just definitely one of those guys, you know, who just rather go for accuracy over power because, you know, because, like, you know, I just rather just get, like, you know, one and done pretty quick. And, you know, I know some of you guys, you know, might be thinking that I'm just definitely one of those competitive players, but, you know, honest to God, guys, I am not a competitive player. Never was, never has been. I mean, well, both the same thing anyway, but never will be anyway. So, I mean, I have a little bit of a, I mean, my competitive, like, knowledge is a little bit limited, but, you know, I do have, like, some good ideas about that, you know, with some Pokemon from a competitive standpoint, but, you know, I never have any intention of just raising at least a competitive team. And, you know, there's actually a certain character we'll be meeting later on that has a kind of mindset that I wholeheartedly agree on. So, so yeah, there's that there. But, you know, but, you know, like I said, I'm not a competitive person, and just never will be. So yeah. Then here we have a Swimmer Wendy, and she has a Horsey. This is our first guy with a Horsey here. Horsey actually gets a pretty good upgrade in Gen 2. Mainly because the Horsey line actually gets an extra evolution, which becomes a Water Dragon type. And it's also one of those trait evolutions. Like after you evolve to Seadra, then if you trade over with a Dragon Scale, then you get its evolution in Kingdra, which we'll probably be seeing later on. But because a water dragon type, and that means it only gets like one weakness in dragon type. But then of course starting with Gen 6, it gets two of them with the fairy types. So yeah, I would say like another good water based kind of Pokemon for you to use if you want to go over that one. But I was actually gonna say much about the whole thing with accuracy over power. Like, there's the whole thing with, Surf and Hydro Pump, some kind of debate that a lot of people have been going for since Gen 1, where they you always argue over which is better, Surf versus Hydro Pump. A lot of people say Surf is better because if it's 100% accuracy and a pretty good power, well, they say Hydro Pump is better because of its higher attack power, despite its low accuracy. Because of that, I always just go for Surf anyway over Hydro Pump, because, like I said, I'm more of the accuracy kind of guy. And, funnily enough, though, they actually referenced that in Scarlet and Violet, where if you take one of those math classes in the academy, and the math teacher will actually bring up that kind of debate, where she outright references the whole debate about the Surf versus Hydro Pump, about like what people prefer, like accuracy over power, and you actually give it the choice of which do you prefer, which isn't really a right or wrong answer in any way, but it's like your own personal opinion, what you think is better. So yeah, I really do love how they actually reference that and in those classes, and first time seeing that, I was like, oh wow, being self-aware there, I see. Yeah, probably like I think that's definitely like something probably to bring up. Once like in the far future when I get to do in Scarlet and Violet, we'll probably just talk about that. So anyway, he's gonna send out a Tentacruel. Yeah, our first guy with Tentacruel here. Tentacruel's had enough of everyone's bullshit. Okay, yeah, this is probably the only time I ever say that there, because Tentacruel doesn't really have that sprite anymore. Where it's just it's all badass, so it looks menacing. So anyway, Tentacruel, it's still a pretty good real good Pokemon to use as well. A good type combination, like I was saying with Tentacle with water poison type. So if you want to go for that kind of good type combination and some well balanced stats, then Tentacle is definitely a good one for you. And like I said, it gets so much better with Gen 6, where it's able to cover more, able to attack more with fairy types. Since fairy types are weakened by poison moves. So yeah, it's pretty much all there is to say about it, though. Also from this visual standpoint there, we see that, Tentacruel has, like, just a select number of those tentacles there, but it's always stated that that Tentacruel actually has 80 tentacles. According to pretty much all of its Pokedex entries. So yeah, I pretty much ran out of things to say here at this point, because I know we're already close to Cianwood City at this point, but this is like just a one-word trainer, and you saw that I actually cut off that one part there, because I was trying to look for that last swimmer that I want to battle, because I want to make sure that I battle every single trainer there is in that route, but I couldn't find that swimmer anywhere though, because that's one thing I never really liked about these water routes, because they're hugely spacious here. Oh, and Arnie's calling me. Yeah, hello, Arnie calling. Where are you now, Tyler? I'm on the sea. Pokemon are starting before changing topic here. I saw this Pidgey for the first time. It was easy to beat, actually. I don't know how you were able to beat that Pidgey, because you use bug types. How are you able to defeat that Pidgey with bug types? And that's really putting a major risk on that, buddy. It's a real mess, kids. But how did you even do that anyway? Are you a god or something? Are you like Arceus? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was all the trainers about here. I cut that part out, and hopefully you guys wouldn't be lost here. So, Cianwood City, a port surrounded by rough seas. Because, yeah, those water routes are very spacious, and, it's kind of hard to just see where it is around here. So, I was trying to look for that last trainer battle, and so I was able to find it. But, yeah, they're very spacious and just, not as easy. So, anyway, so here we are in Cianwood City, and, there's like, there is a pharmacy for one thing. There's also the gym, but there's no Pokemon Mart here, so it's kind of a small city in a way. The Pokemon gym trainers here are macho bullies. If I stick around, they might come after me. Here's some advice. The gym leader uses the fighting type, so you should confound him with psychic Pokemon. Wipe out his Pokemon before they can use their physical strength. And those boulders in the middle of the gym? If you don't move them correctly, you won't reach the gym leader. If he gets stuck, go outside. Yeah, that's actually true, but we'll talk about that once we get to the gym. Yeah, he's actually not in the gym this time. He's in the Pokemon Center because, well, because apparently, because those, apparently those, macho bullies are saying just, probably want to beat the shit out of him, so he's kind of assuming that's just being intimidated. I mean, you're a man. You can just face all that there. So anyways, so we can probably just go ahead and explore a bit around in here in Cianwood City. So yeah, I was saying that beforehand in Ergotique City, but yeah, both this city and Ergotique City share the same thing. First, let's go to the pharmacy here, because you know that's where we need to go to cure the Ampharos. Yeah, our Pokemon appear to be finding something worrying you. The Lighthouse Pokemon is in trouble. Yeah, so yeah, talk to this guy here, and then he'll give you this right here, the SecretPotion. It's a very powerful kind of medicine. And you can't really use that to your Pokemon at all, because, you know, apparently it's tad too strong, so that's why it's been put in the key items pocket. But that's what we'll need to cure the Ampharos, so anyway, it would be much easier if your Pokemon knew how to fly, but you can't use fly without this city's gym badge. If you be the gym leader here, come see me. I'll have a nice gift for you. So this is actually the gym leader's wife here, so basically he has the HM for fly, which we can't really use unless we have the gym badge we have here in the for the overworld. So after we defeat him, then we'll be able to use fly, and that's actually, you know, one thing that we really need here. So we have this guy here. Apparently, Fuckbag came here, or Silver rather. He came here and threatened him into, scared him into basically just like taking away his Pokemon, which is later revealed to be Sneasel. And so he actually has one Pokemon left here, but you know, he wants to make sure that's in the right hands. And so as long as you raise it right, then he'll say that you're a much better trainer for it, and so he lets you keep that that Pokemon. But if you treat it badly, then he'll actually demand for the Pokemon back. He'll get real pissy with you because of it. And the Pokemon he gives you is Shuckle. Shuckle, well, it sucks. I mean, it has real high defensive, it's real high with defense, but it has very low HP and low physical attack, so I wouldn't really recommend it much. But, you know, I guess from a competitive standpoint, then you can actually just teach some moves, like some weather-based moves, and some other kind of satellite moves, and so I guess it would be decent in that kind of regard, but I wouldn't really recommend Shuckle, so that's why I don't want to go for Shuckle, because, well, you know, I give no Shuckle fuckles, so there you go. I don't want to fuckle with Shuckle. And this here is the cameraman right here. If you have the Game Boy printer, then you can be able to use the this kind of photo here. Unfortunately, though, because I'm playing on the Virtual Console, it doesn't work at all. So if I select yes, it's completely disabled. So I'll never be able to use it at all because I'm playing this on the Virtual Console. They completely disabled it here. And also, as you can see, like the reason why I was kind of like hugging that wall that's right above the gym. One thing to say here that exclusively in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there's a little tunnel here they can actually get through, and so they added 2 new routes to those games, Route 47 and 48, and those are basically like these steep cliffside routes, you know, or filled with steep cliffs and waterfalls. And if you continue along that route, you'll reach the Safari Zone. Yeah, they actually brought back the Safari Zone in those remakes. So if you want to, you know, so if you actually miss the Safari Zone, we can just go over there. And the Safari Zone is actually where you can just change the layouts if you use that little machine there. So anyway, so we actually just encountered Suicune once again, and so he just ran off. And so you see here, still having that Suicune fetish, will come up to you and will want to battle you. This whole area is actually exclusive to Crystal, where like in Gold and Silver, it's also just like a plains here. So yeah, but for this one, you know, only exclusive to Crystal, and also Heart Gold and Soul Silver for that matter. And so now we're actually battling a Mystical Man Yucine, and so he has 3 Pokemon at his disposal, and he's going to start with Drowsy. Drowsy has moves Hypnosis, Disable, Confusion, and Dream Meter, but, you know, as long as you have the right Pokemon for it, then, you know, it should be just fine for you. As long as Drowsy isn't really hitting Nightshade with its Psychic attacks. Well, he's already using a Hypnosis, so yeah. Oh, and also that house I just visited. Also, only a Crystal was the Seer. She'll if you select whichever Pokemon, she'll tell you like you know how exactly you first met that Pokemon, what area it was, and what level it was at. After you talk to the Seer, then if you return to the route that you first met your Pokemon, its friendship level will actually increase. So stay over there, you know, if you just want to get a little boost in that friendship level. Alright, so next up he's using Haunter. Haunter has moves Hypnosis, Lick, Mean Look, and Curse. So pretty much those I've already explained out. So yeah, just give it a couple of Shadow Balls here, and then there we go. You know, not too hard though. At least he didn't really use look there, and at least in a Shadow Ball, and now Nightshade's a level 22. Now is the last Pokemon, which would basically is Ace Pokemon, Electrode, and I think this would be our first encounter with Electrode. It's an evolved form of Voltorb, which is just like an upside down one. And Electrode's winking at me. It's like, hey, look how smug that Electrode always looks. All right, so Electrode. Electrode has moves Sonic Boom, Rollout, Screech, and Thunder. Thunder is one of the more powerful Electric-type moves, and I've already explained what it was here. Thunder, you know, has real high attack power but low accuracy. Originally, it had a 90% accuracy in Gen 1, but it got decreased to 70 starting with Gen 2. So because of that, I'd rather just use Thunderbolt. So anyway, so Ucine has been defeated, and so I think so. So yeah, basically that's just what it is. You know, just things weaken, and then Ucine will just say, you know, just tell you about it and all that stuff here, and just go on about his fetish with it. They actually still do keep the plot line in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where they actually build in basically they reuse a lot of the crystal elements in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So it's basically a combination of both Gold and Silver and Crystal. So see, I wanted to know that both Cianwood City and Acid City share the same themes. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I did mention that Acid City had a more traditional Japanese kind of tune. While Heart Gold and Soul Silver is Cianwood City, it's actually much more true to the original tune. So it's actually kind of nice to just differentiate from that. So anyway, so that was pretty much all there is in Cianwood City. So we can actually go over to heal the Ampharos. But for next time, we're gonna go tackle a gym and get the gym badge. So I will see you guys then.